Hi, I'm Allison the Crocheter.
And I'm Vivian the Knitter, and this is the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 151 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. I'm gonna skip the beginning spiel because we don't have our script and we're together!
Hey, again!
So it's 2 together episodes in a row?
Yeah, because we had to skip one because somebody was just too busy.
Yes. But lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin?
I don't know. We just had our Really Good Festival 4 days ago it ended. And we only just recovered, I think.
Yeah, I think we kind of kept the ball rolling for a bit of like other things, and now we're finally on like a rest day. Mm-hmm. So yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, I run the Really Good Gathering with a group of 6 of us, and this
You're
year
on the team.
Yes. And this year we had it at Central Hall on the other side of Edinburgh to where we had it last year, which was the first year. And I think it was really nice.
Yeah, I think it was very successful. Talked to a lot of visitors, and they're all very happy with the venue. Even though it was split between 2 buildings, they were really happy with the classroom space, lots of light and room to move, and then the marketplace where there was like more elbow room.
Yeah. It's so it's in a church, and it's quite, as the name suggests, Central Hall. It is quite central. It's very close to the castle, and from the main road you wouldn't necessarily suspect it was there. If you look at the building, you can then tell there's stained glass in those particular windows. There's a really big auditorium space, which we used, and that was where the Moorit stand was. So it was a big auditorium. There's like a stage, there's the stained glass, and then up above there's a gallery. So we had sort of social seating, which was really nice because then people could, have a coffee, knit on the gallery, and kind of still
see everybody in the marketplace.
Yeah.
There were a lot of pictures taken from the gallery of like the main marketplace, and yeah, Madeline and I are in like
a lot of the photos. Yeah. So my youngest sister Madeline, who has never made a podcast appearance, I don't think.
No, we've spoken about her many
because
times.
She crochets a bit. She helped at the Moorit stand with my mom, which probably was nice for you to have.
Yeah, I was like, I like a lot of those pictures. Like, where am I? It's just Madeline standing there talking to people. She got the spiel down, by the first hour. And she did a really good job selling your magazines. I had her do a lot of the actual transactions because you have to hold my phone and your card reader, and then usually it's like, oh wait, I had to grab my glasses because I can't see what I'm doing. So I just like give it to her, and I don't have to worry about juggling glasses and stuff. Yeah, she did a really, really good job. And towards the end, she could recognize the samples that you had. All of the samples from issue 8 were there, and then you had some random samples, and she knew like which issue they came from.
So, yeah. Learned on the job.
Yeah, she did a good job.
And yeah, so I'm sure lots of people said hello to you and Madeline, and not so much to me because I was running around. But it was a lovely show. And will we talk about? Well, you did a workshop.
I did
on Thursday.
On Thursday before the
main
market days. Madeline and I did a Dorset button workshop with Tanya of TJ Frog, and we made. Oh, where's my other here?
Also, I'm stroking a cat on the other side of me, which is why if you're watching the video, my arm's like moving.
So we made these. That was the first ones. No, I think we made the little ones first. And so Tanya, her workshops, or at least her kits, a lot of them have beads in them, which is not historically accurate.
So will you explain what the Dorset button looks like, maybe, for our listeners?
They're historically they're made from wire with like really thin thread, white thread that goes around and around it, and then there's like different patterns you can make along these spokes. Because this one has 8 spokes.
So essentially, but the outer, there's like a sort of outer ring, which you've wrapped yarn around.
And you just do like a blanket stitch going all around.
And then there's, spokes in the center of the ring, and then you've added beads as well.
Yeah, and then she had some pictures of vintage ones, and they were teeny tiny. Let's see if I can find them. Here we go. Oh, they were tiny. Like the little one was small, was about the size of my pinky nail. Yeah, tiny, and it's just made with really, really fine thread. And so these were buttons on garments, and mostly little girls would be making them, and they were, I don't know, they were given like a few pence per however many, until the Industrial Revolution, where they had button making machines. Mm-hmm. Let's see if I have another picture of. No, that's very similar to what I made. So yeah, Tanya. I mean, she didn't invent the beaded Dorset buttons, but she's known for them. Oh, and I got these from her. They're Dorset button earrings, little ones,
little green ones.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like hand dyed yarn.
Yeah, and it matches my sweater.
Very good.
So that was a lot of fun.
And you did that with Madeline.
I did that with Madeline. She made hers like opposite as mine. Color-wise, we used the same yarn, but just opposite. Like hers is darker on the outside and then lighter on the inside. And I think we ended up using the same beads too. And that was before I had to work.
Yes. But because you had a helper, you were able to do a bit more shopping this year.
I was. So I didn't go too crazy. I did buy more Dorset button stitch markers. So these are for Madeline because they're the locking ones that you need for crocheting. And I bought a pin bag. What was it? A brooch from Lindsay Walters. And these are made from wool felt, in the shape of a Highland cow head. Really cute. I really like that.
Yeah, she had thistles and puffins, I think, as well, that were very popular.
Yeah, I had a hard time deciding which one, but I ended up with the Highland cow. Oops. And I bought the Edinburgh Doodle expansion deck that was released.
Yeah, so
at the festival,
Pacific Knit Co. made it in collaboration with Cooks and Crafts to release it at Woolly Good this year. So you bought it at the Cooks and Crafts stand.
And some buttons I got from Zakami yarn, some pins, pin buttons that say "Good yarn, good karma." One has a picture of a woman knitting. The other one is a cat with yarn and
sunglasses
and a skein of her yarn. And I got the hat kit for this year's Shetland wool hat, but I didn't get the original colorway. I got the alternate colorway from Jameson's. But the yarn that it calls for is actually for the alternate colorway. The one that I'm doing is actually Jameson's and Smith's yarn. But what's the woman's name? She was able to pull the
similar colors, but out of
their yarn.
Yeah.
So,
and this year's hat is called.
I can't pronounce it. That's the hat. That's the original colorway, and the hat is called I something. Where is it? All over Turi,
essentially.
I guess.
All over. And I quite like this hat. So it is sort of an all over pattern. So it's like the same pattern throughout the whole hat, rather than your band. What would you like? Bands of color work, different motifs, which I feel like is normal.
Yeah.
Normally, what the hat is.
So this is the colorway I'm doing. It's more purple and pink, rather than brown and blue, brown,
blue, green, and red.
Yeah.
I actually like the brown one with the blue pops of blue and red.
That one's nice too.
But I've already requested because I like this hat, this version, this particular Shetland wool week hat. If you can, with the spare yarn left over, do one for me.
Yeah, I can
But like
do
different,
that.
obviously.
Well, the brim on the one I'm doing, it has the purple color on the bottom. So you use the most of this one. So the second hat would have a different color for the brim. So whatever you have the most of is probably, it might be the other, like this color, the muted purpley color.
I'd like that.
Yeah.
It's a muted purple, but then when you actually look at it, there's like purple and pink and green.
And green.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So yeah, I didn't go crazy. Is that all I bought? That's all I bought. Not too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I even managed to buy something, not any yarn. I've been eyeing up some Zakami boucle, like chunky boucle alpaca, but I haven't bought that yet.
Because you can buy that anytime.
Yeah, I can buy that anytime. I did buy a project bag.
Not just your outfit.
Yeah, so it's got like a black and gray and white gingham, and then like a black and white splatter on the top. And I just like, what kind of blue would you call this? Like a cornflower? Royal?
Royal blue, yeah.
I really like this blue. It reminds me of, there's a garden in Marrakesh. Mm-hmm. Majorelle blue. Majorelle blue would be way brighter than this, like zinc, like almost neon. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then
the stitching is that blue color.
Yeah, and then there's like stitching on. It's quilted, and the stitching is hidden in the gingham, but it's also the blue, and it's got a pop of color on the inside. It's yellow, yellow on the inside. But this is I bought from Garthenner, and they were visiting up to. Oh, they had a stand. But the bag is Anna Untangled. It says, every project bag is carefully handcrafted in my West Wales studio using the vintage sewing machine I inherited from my grandma. And it's all cotton fabrics and a bamboo cotton wadding.
Batting,
yeah. So I just saw it, and I liked all her fabric combinations, but I got this one.
Very nice, very nice.
And the other thing, I didn't actually buy it, but I was gifted a little enamel pin badge from Wallin Kitchen, who were doing, so Helen was doing a workshop on assigned color pooling in knitting.
Oh, okay.
And she also had a little pop-up shop for a few hours on one of the days. So she just gifted me a little badge.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
Are really good acquisitions. I thought maybe we could talk about another workshop that we did.
Yeah.
Not at Woolly Good. I don't know if it was only 1.5 hours, so I don't know if it qualifies as a workshop per se or a.
I thought it was a good 2 hours.
class.
Was it 2 hours?
I don't know, but we did a drop spindling class at Wheel of Fate. Can you just about read that? Wheel of Fate. With Tara, the owner. I'm showing the project bag. It's fun. And that was one of the things that we were given at the end. There's a little wee flyer for it as well. Wheel of Fate. They offer tarot readings, broom making, bookbinding, wool spinning. And the shop's not that far from Summer Hall, actually. So we did this, me, you, and Madeline. Not got a lot to show for it. So this is my ball of yarn, but the ends have obviously come like unspun. Like this is basically just roving. But in the middle, you can see it's stayed a bit more spun. So obviously we've got lots of practicing to do. If anybody's got some tips.
Here's mine.
Oh, now my cat wants to play with the yarn. Oh, yours I feel like has stayed spun a little bit better. Oh,
To let go.
I
I don't even remember. Like she was telling us, like the makeup of all the
I do.
the
So
fiber.
there's our
Spindle.
spindle. This is not the one actually. She gave us some to use, and then fresh ones to bring home with us.
Yeah, mine's still not
In
put
pieces.
together.
Yeah. So that's the spindle. And I think I'm used to seeing or in my head, seeing people do it where it's bottom loaded, but this one's on the top.
I don't know what the advantage of either.
I don't know. And then the fiber she gave us 2 humbugs, which is different colored natural wools put together, so it's kind of stripy. That's the Shetland, I think. right? This is...
Was it Jacob?
Oh, maybe it was the other way around.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the dark one is the Jacob, a humbug of different Jacob colors. And then this lighter one is Shetland, which actually feels a bit softer. And my cat is trying to play with it. And then she also gave us a little bit of merino, which was actually, as a beginner,
it was
harder because with the humbug, where it's striped with different colors, you could see how loose or tight your yarn was being
spun.
Yeah, twisted.
And
then we also got to pick a color of dyed Shetland, a braid of Shetland.
We picked the same color, didn't we?
We did pick the same color.
The Madeline picked a different one.
Petrol-y blue.
Don't know if I'm ever going to actually do it.
You have to.
I have to, yes. And I will report back when I do something with it.
Yeah, I think I'll continue practicing on the random 3 different types of wools in a random order. One first before I go to the actual blue. And I have no concept. Well, it's like, how much yarn is it going to be? I don't know.
Yeah. So we had a really nice woolly time. So that was on Wednesday. Thursday was the Dorset Buttons, and then Friday, Saturday was the marketplace. We saw a lot of people. We saw a lot of familiar faces and some new faces, and it's nice that I can recognize, people coming in. I would go to somewhere like, I saw you last year. Don't know your name, but I saw you last year. That was nice. And I even managed to remember a few names.
That's better than I would do.
And Friday night was the social. Allison and Madeline made up a Mingle Bingo game where it's just a bingo card, but each block had something you had to
find somebody that it described. So we picked things that were yarn and knitting and fiber related. So like, find somebody who owns a spinning wheel, find somebody who's made the same pattern as you, find somebody who this is their first yarn show. And then there were some like Scotland ones, somebody who's eaten deep fried Mars bar, like more general ones, wearing green, traveled by train,
never made a swatch,
doesn't swatch, stuff like that. And so you try and find somebody, encourages you to walk around and start some conversations. A lot of people were trying to fill the whole board, just might as well,
for fun,
rather than just get the 5 in a row. And then we did a raffle, or is it a raffle or a prize draw?
Yeah.
And I had a wee helper who helped me do the prize draw.
Yeah, the little daughter of one of the organizers, one of the other organizers, and the woman that won the prize. Because it was a really nice prize. There was yarn. There was an issue of Journal Scotch Yarns and some other doodads, right?
An art print.
She already had the issue, so she gifted that issue to me.
Yeah, I think it was issue
5. It was issue 5.
I've got the full set back there somewhere.
So I was really happy.
Yeah. Will we talk about some actual crafting?
Sure.
Whips?
Oh, wait, before we do that, we should probably talk about the archive KCAL before we forget.
Okay. The archive KCAL started a couple weeks ago. A few days ago. So April 1st to all of April, all of May,
and all of June.
And all of June.
30th.
So 3 months to work on something. The idea being that you go through your library of patterns or list of patterns that you favorited or queued and find something that is been languishing for maybe 3 years or more. That's just a general rule. It doesn't have to be 3 years, especially if you've only been knitting or crocheting for less than 3 years, but something old that's been sitting there, and just finally do it. Also encouraged to use stash yarn that's been sitting around for a few years. But you and I are going to continue projects we started for last year's archive KCAL.
So I'm gonna work on my Yale cardigan. This by Wallin, and it is a color work steeped cardigan, and I am mostly done with the first sleeve. I just have to do the cuff. So right before I left, I did all the color work for the sleeve, the left sleeve. And when I go home, I'll be able to pick it back up and do the ribbing and then pick up stitches and steek the hole for the other sleeve, this sleeve, the right sleeve.
I feel like you have been working on it pretty much all year, though.
Yeah, I've been, just
chipping away.
Because sometimes I just need like a mental break from especially the top part of the color work was just 2 colors throughout. That was a bit it gets kind of old after a while, but I whizzed through the color bands on the bottom of the sleeve so fast, not just because it was shorter, because you do the sleeve decreases, but because it's more interesting for me to work on. So I think that's my lesson, is if I ever do like an all over color work, it can't just be 2 colors for the whole outfit. It has to be different colors, or I get tired and I just want to throw it away because
yeah.
And
I have not been working on my one consistently throughout the year, so people will have forgotten by now. What was Allison working on last year's archive pal? And it was the Acre sweater from...
Oh, yeah.
See? Yeah, you forgot. From issue number 31 of Pom Pom. And it's Acre by Judith brand. And it looks like that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's got like the color blocking in sort of like
but
angular.
This is your second attempt at this sweater, is it not?
No, it's not. It's my second use of this yarn.
Oh, okay.
So that's the sweater. But then of course I basically rewrote it because my yarn's way chunkier. Which is probably part of the reason why I kind of stopped. Oh god, I'm only on the second so I'm like reminding myself now live. Well, so I have the front panel done.
Well, so you have the whole front panel done.
Whole front panel done. And so I'm doing that in a sort of sagey green, a charcoal, and a cream. And then I've just got maybe the first shoulder done of the back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're more than half. No. You still have to do the sleeves.
Yes, I'm less than halfway. Maybe it would just be a vest, sleeveless. Because I'm not actually sure how I'm gonna do the sleeve.
Oh, because
color changes.
You change, yeah.
Because
so yeah, I mean, it would be a really nice vest. Nice and squishy.
It's a pullover. It wouldn't even be a vest. It would just be a sleeveless. Would it be a vest? Kind of like a drop shoulder.
Kind of like what I'm wearing right now, which I'll talk about later.
So yeah, I think I just bought some budgety merino silk, like drops. Sorry, not mohair. Mohair.
Or is it alpaca?
Mohair. I think it's silk mohair. I think it's just like drops or something like that. And then so this is the yarn you were remembering was this base yarn, which is wool. I started to make blurred lines.
Oh yeah.
And I had that like boob shelf because like the yoke was too long and like I just wasn't in love with it. So I ripped it out, even though I basically nearly finished it. And now it's still not been used, but it's getting there. So I'm gonna try and finish that. Well, no, I'm gonna work on this for the archive count. I don't know. Maybe I'll finish it because I've got a little bit less on maybe this spring. If I didn't have that already going on, what I would have worked on is this cover cardigan from Yedra Knits, which is a Tunisian cardigan. I've got the yarn for it. I bought the yarn at Tangled.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Last year, I guess. So about a year ago. So it looks like that.
It's from 2020, September.
Yeah, it's the Tramontana cardigan. The model is wearing it in several sizes too big, with like an absurd like 20 inches of positive ease or something like that. So I won't make mine that big. So I've already got the yarn.
Oh, cool.
So maybe next year's archive, Cal?
Okay, so that's Archive Cal. So hopefully you guys... There's some people already joined us. I started the Ravelry thread.
Yeah. Excellent.
Okay. Whips.
I do have a whip. I am still working on another cover design. The Whin shawl from issue 5 of Moorit. Little behind. No, my cat is playing with ribbon.
My ribbon was really wet the other day.
It's kind of the same color as the couch. So it's getting pretty big.
Oh, look at that.
This is a triangular shawl. You can see.
How much more do you have?
I think I've got like 10 right side rows to do. Mm-hmm. So you work on the texture stitches, the front post stitches, and bobbles that create I want to call it like a creeping trellis of...
It's very botanical.
Yeah. It's like a little squiggly lines with buds bursting out of it. So yeah, just on the right side rows you work on that, and then the wrong side rows is just plain. So yeah, I think I've got 10 more. But I'm increasing. So every row gets bigger. So once I finish that, there's a border that goes along the triangular edge. But it's getting there. And this color, I don't know if I've mentioned before, the version that's on the cover of the magazine is more of a yellow color, like a sort of goldenrod-y color, mustard yellow. This one's more of a rust brick color. Originally, we picked out this yarn for
the sample.
The designer received it, and she wasn't sure how well the texture stitches were gonna show up. And I think it's fun. They do show up absolutely fine. For the purposes of the photography, it's possible that the yarn we picked was a little bit better. So I got her the lighter colored yarn instead, which meant I was left with enough of this color to do a sample. So that's part of the reason. Oh, I really like it. I like it with the stripes that I'm wearing.
Yeah, it's like I think the color is like Emily's couch.
Yes. It's also just Emily's colors. I think it's like...
I'm trying to get this to the end because right now it's hard to show when I'm in the middle of a row. And my whip is called Fleur. I don't remember who it's by. Gotta check it out. It is by Jenny. No, that's who knit it. I think it's a Espastrico pattern. Yes, it is. So here's the pattern page. Whoa! Almost knocked into the camera. And this is, I'm using the same yarn that I knit my lento in. So it's the smooth sock yarn plus a mohair, and in like a pink color, in like a soft pink, and the white bits is alpaca that I had lying around. So basically it's a crescent shaped shawl done in stockinette, and every few rows there is 2 rows of the contrast color, and then some of the contrast colors rows have bobbles. And I'm actually crocheting these bobbles because I wasn't happy with the knitted bobbles that I made. And I'm not like super happy with the crochet bobbles either. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I think maybe I need to, I think I figured out that if I make the bobble in the wrong side row and push it through, it looks better. So this is what it looks like when it's pushed through from the other side. So I think I'm going to do that. Yeah. For the next time I do bobble. So this is the only project I brought with me because I had limited space in my carry-on. My Yale cardigan was just way too bulky to bring, as much as I wanted to work on it. So I haven't actually done that much knitting while I've been busy. Yeah, we've been super, super busy. And that is it for my whips. I do have an FO.
I don't.
You don't have an FO. I talked about the lento already, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've already talked about my lento. But I am wearing my Hatsuki by Rievive. And this is a short sleeve or sleeveless, oversized top with a little bit of lace in the front
bottom.
that look like leaves. I got a lot of compliments on this.
And you did this
I did this in Iolair's festival yarn from last year, and a bunch of people did recognize the yarn. I also, because we were given as Kickstarter or contributors, we were given these patches, labels.
I didn't even realize you'd put that on there.
That says Really Good on it.
It's the Really Good Gathering
logo. So it's on a cork label. So I attached it to the side. I didn't know where else to attach it to.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I mean, I'm just gonna stick it right in the middle.
No, I think down at the bottom hem is like the right spot. And Jen Hogg who does Generate Sewing Tools, she made those for us. The cork
labels, and then I did take a picture with Solveig because it's her yarn.
Yeah,
but not in front of her stand because we all got too busy, and she was never around. I didn't have my phone with me when I was wandering around because my phone was the cash register. So maybe next time we should put it on my iPad and leave my iPad at the stand.
Yeah. Oh, next time.
That would work.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it for our projects.
I should probably mention that Moorit Issue 8 is now on sale. So I won't do a sample run because it's somewhere in a box that I haven't unpacked from the weekend yet. But so yes, this is Ahoy There, Issue 8. It is going to be the last issue ... Because I'm taking my break. Which, have I talked about that on the podcast? I'm
not sure.
We should really take notes for these podcast episodes. I'm taking a break, and I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do. I love Moorit too much to say it's a goodbye forever. I've got ideas of what I might do in the future with Moorit, so it probably won't come back in the exact form it is in now. But yeah, so issue 8, Ahoy There. This has got my husband Sam on the cover. He's the main model because all the designs were all designed as like menswear.
We were calling them unisex.
Gender neutral. So this, the size is a bit bigger. It's men's sizing. That's the... I'm just realizing that's the same picture. That's the Wellerman is the cover design, and that's just kind of got like different crocheted cables. It's done sideways, and we worked that up in a tweedy yarn. It's
that yarn. It looks like confetti.
Like confetti tweed. It's like multicolored. Yeah. So even though from afar it looks like a very sedate beige, and then you get close and you're like, oh, there's little speckles of colors, pink and blue and orange and yellow.
Yeah, a lot of people like that one. Oh, and Alice had made it into the magazine, her face anyway.
Yes, so I've modeled a few things. I wore that jumper just there I am with Sam.
Madeline wore that striped shirt at the festival.
We got a pair of socks that's got a little anchor on the side. On the outside of each ankle. It's called, I forgot to do my due diligence and re-look up Acre. That's anchor, essentially, in Gaelic, I think. Priano. It's a very summery collared top. This is Tunisian crochet, one of those ones that fold lots of knitters.
Yes, and it's very drapey.
It's very drapey. So it's got some vertical stripes, and then within the stripes as well, some Tunisian cables.
We did full, not just knitters, but a lot of crocheters too.
And Sam really liked this shirt, so I might make him one.
Oh, too bad you can't keep the sample.
Yeah, I gotta get that back. It's me! This is the Old Salt beanie, just sort of your classic beanie. Ribbed look. There's an article on steeking because this cardigan, Sea Spray, is done crocheted, obviously, but steeked up the front and for the sleeves as well. And the color work pattern looks almost sort of random, but it's supposed to represent, like sea spray.
I think that also fooled a lot of people, especially from afar.
Yeah, so I was talking to somebody while I was actually at the stand. They were knitters, and there's a close-up of the sleeve decreases. What the benefits of crocheting clothing was over knitting, and obviously there's preconceptions that crochet clothing is really dense or stiff, and of course, if you use a really chunky yarn with
granny squares.
Well, no, the chunky, a thicker yarn with like a smaller hook, or it's the same with knitting. It's going to change things, and it is maybe more prone to being thicker because it uses more yarn. And I was talking about this waistcoat stitch, a split double crochet, split single crochet stitch that you do in the round, which looks like knitting, and how I've got those photographer's mittens, which you said are like bulletproof, which was done the same way. And it was my example of actually, for mittens, that's quite nice, like having really dense fabric. But if you'd done it the same but knitted,
it would
been a lot thinner,
half as thin.
Yeah. So there's pros and cons of different things. These are a pair of fingerless mitts, Carrick Bend, which we've named after a type of knot. Those are my hands. A float. That's a raglan
pullover
with a shawl collar with a colorwork body.
That would look really cute as a hoodie too.
It would, yeah. A colorwork body, sort of like diagonal waves, and that's designed by Samira, who runs Tangled Yarn Festival in Galashiels. Interco. That's a vest, a pullover sleeveless vest.
Looks kind of like those.
So the idea is
flags.
that it's the colors from the signal flags, and on the back is an optional detail to the visual Morse code.
Oh, what does it say?
It says ahoy.
Oh.
And then a small, like shawlette neckerchief sort of thing. That's Tunisian.
I wore that all day. I think both
Tunisian
days.
as well. We've got it modeled a few different ways. So Sam's wearing it as a sort of
bandana
around his neck. I wore it as around my head, and then as a, tied in the front. So that's Tunisian, but short rows, so you can do it with a regular hook. This is the shirt that Madeline wore on day one, Meridian. It's a collared, button-down, short sleeve shirt with vertical stripes. It's actually really heavy, it's like dense, like it's hefty, but still drapey. A sort of fashion scarf.
Madeline kept calling it the duck scarf.
The duck scarf. It's a skinny scarf with stripes. Walking on a yacht, it's called. Small scarf, long name. And those are all the patterns.
Well done. Yeah. Really nice.
And as our segue, we did the photo shoot at Dunbar, which is a 25-minute train journey from the centre of Edinburgh. It's a nice little town. The harbour is really pretty. There's a castle ruin. Apparently Mary Queen of Scots stayed at it once.
Yeah.
And there's still boats and lots of activity going on. I was a little nervous when we went there because we had Sam climbing down some of the ladders on the harbor. I'm like, somebody's gonna yell at us. But it was fine. Using everything that was there as props. And got a nice picture of some of the bins for the fishing. Playing with their nets. I mean, they're just there on the ground, just touching them. I think we've got a picture of Sam with lobster. What do they call it? Creels?
Oh, the traps.
The lobster traps, yeah. That one is... It's definitely in here somewhere. Oh, here. They're just down there. The lobster traps. So,
nice.
Lots to work with. And we went back there to Dunbar on Monday, a couple days after the festival ended, to go on a boat tour to the Isle of May, the Jewel of the Forth. So we got on a little rib.
Is that what it was called?
Type of boat, like with the inflatable-y looking sides. And it took us, we circled Bass Rock, which is home to a very large gannet colony that was full of nesting gannets. And then we took us to Isle of May, saw lots of different types of birds, guillemots, razorbills, which those two are also black and white, and lots of people, as they were flying by, thought they were puffins. Like, no, those aren't the puffins yet, because they're a little bit bigger than puffins, but they're in the same family. And then, as we got closer to the Isle of May, we did see some puffins flying around, and then we landed on the Isle of May, and it was full of puffins. They were on the ground, they were in the ground, they were flying overhead, they were watching us, we were watching them.
It was Puffin Central.
Yeah. We were the tour guides were trying to manage our expectations. You know, they were saying,
on the way over.
Every day is different. We're kind of coming early in the season. It
was their first day.
It was that
of the season, right?
For them.
For them, on this boat, because the boat was refurbished.
Yeah, I don't know if, like, for that particular tour guide, I don't know if but the puffins had already arrived, but there's a sort of they're settling in. They haven't necessarily laid any eggs yet, so we had seen there were some like observation notes in the visitor center from a few days beforehand where it said every day is a little bit different, like as there's like the word, like some sort of like an air of nervous anticipation as like all the puffins come back, and some days it feels completely deserted because they've gone out, and some days they're all over the place. So luckily we got there and there were loads,
thousands
and because as we were circling the island before we landed to go on, we saw seals and different types of birds and puffins.
I was there just for the puffins.
Yeah. And as we were circling the side where we're getting closer to where we were landing, the sun was coming right at us, so we couldn't see very well. And I had my monocular, which you had gotten me for my birthday, my past birthday, which I took to New Zealand with me. And I was looking, at the island, but it's hard to see because everything's
too.
The boat's moving, everything's backlit. And I was like, I think there's birds all over the grass. And I asked...
And it was on the cliff, right? It was
just like all on the grass.
Okay.
The grassy bank facing us. I was like, I'm pretty sure those are just all birds. So I spoke to the woman on the boat, the guide, and so she got out her binoculars and she was like, yeah, it's like a bird every meter. So they hadn't even clocked it quite at that point, that the birds were out in full force.
I was like almost crying. I was so happy.
Yeah. So every once in a while I just hear from behind me, I'm so happy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
And I was relieved as well because we were on the boat, so we hadn't landed yet. We hadn't seen them up close on the ground. And Madeline had said she'd seen puffins both in Ireland and in Iceland, but only flying around or like swimming. So I think she said, I don't know which place, but they were sort of on the top of the cliff and the birds were flying into burrows like below them, but not like on the ground where they were. And as we were approaching the island and the birds were, the puffins were flying over us and in the water, she was saying that was already closer than what she had seen before. I'm like, okay, so at the very least, if there's no puffins on the island, you've gotten that one step closer. But then it was fine. There was loads.
Oh my gosh, they were there. And their little heads, they like peep out of their holes and they come, and then they socialize and then go back into their holes. It was so cute.
Yeah, and they using their feet to stabilize when they're flying. And they're just like, it reminded me of like when a cat or a dog sploots and their like back legs are just like out like that, and like that's like their feet while they're flying. And we learned that the colorful beaks and the orange
the orange feet
and the white faces is a breeding season thing, and then it fades back to gray non-colorful things in the winter, or not non-breeding season.
Yeah, and the way they were describing, it sounded like they just fall off. Their beak falls off, because that's what they were saying. They, it falls off. What are they saying? Did they actually say?
No, I think they must not have said fall off, but the phrasing that they used, it kind of sounded like
oh, they're gonna fall.
The
off.
decorations fell off. The decorations, because they didn't say like fade away or like, I don't know, but. So we were just humoring ourselves. We knew it wasn't true. Humoring ourselves with the idea that their beaks just fall off and they're beakless over the winter.
Yeah, and my supposition is that because they spend most of their lives out floating around in the ocean, and then without the colorfulness, they're not as visible to predators.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's my theory.
But yeah, so we had a very nice time.
Yeah, I loved it.
Would recommend.
Yes, that was what was the name of the tour?
Blue Wild.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah. Right.
That's all. Oh, yeah, it's regular.
Is that us?
Yeah, I still have a few more days before I go home.
Yep, we're gonna do some pub quiz. Might go to St. Andrews,
which I've never been.
Yeah, but taking it
slow,
a bit slower.
Poor Allison was really run ragged over the weekend, and that's a couple times she actually bit my head off.
It was when I was trying to coordinate loading out. The venue is right by a fire station. Only a small amount of cars could come through. Obviously, everybody wants to just go home. All the vendors, you've packed your stuff, and so I was at clipboard. I was stressing out inside. Gary was stressing out outside, like telling cars where to go. And like all that day didn't know where my wallet was, which was fine. I was like, I don't know where it is, it's gonna be somewhere. And you came up to me in the middle of that to be like, I have your wallet, do you want it? I'm like, I don't need it now. Like, what am I gonna do with the wallet now? I'm doing something. And you were like, I just in case you I was like, no, in case nothing, go away.
Yeah, basically that. I'm like, okay. I stayed out of the way while they were unloading.
Except for that,
I stayed out of the way. Because I remember you saying, I have no idea where my wallet is, and I forgot that you had given it to me the day before.
Yeah.
To hold on to. So
yeah, I left the house without my keys, or like the keys were. Yeah, I don't know. Just it was not only was it the planning for Willy Good, it was the launch of
the magazine.
Moorit. It was you and Madeline coming over and like doing stuff together beforehand that were nothing to do with that. Just spending time together. My in-laws coming to help with Willy Good as well. Emily and Quentin and Nelson were here
they were
the
here
week beforehand.
Yeah,
and so we were doing stuff with them, and my uncles were here as well. Like, it was like visitor central it's been visitor central for the past 2.5 weeks on top of Willy Good, on top of Moorit. So
the reason why
my brain's been like,
reason why we didn't have a second March episode was because Emily was here, so I couldn't record with either Emily or Allison.
Yes, and I know I would have liked to have recorded even a mini episode with her, but it was just...
So the uncles came all the way up from London just to see the baby. They were only here for, 4 days?
Yeah, 3
just so they could see the baby.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. One of them hadn't seen my flat before, and his niece happened to be in Edinburgh as well, so there was other reasons, but to see the baby.
Yeah. Because if the baby wasn't here, they wouldn't have come up during that time.
No. Okay, right. Well, will we say goodbye? My spiel?
Do a spiel.
Thank you for listening. No, is that right?
Yes.
The show notes for this episode and every episode is on our website, kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can like and follow, subscribe, and favorite, and comment, and review, and all the things on your favorite podcast app, as well as on YouTube. You can join our Ravelry group. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry Yarn in the Groups tab, and we'll have the Ravelry thread for the Archive Cow. You can use hashtag ArchiveCal25 on Instagram, and that's Cal, KCAL, because it's a knit and crochet along. I think that's it. Thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry on. Bye!